So last class we looked at a table of values and used reasoning to determine reaction order for the different reactants. I'm going to show you how I will be looking for you to show the work on a written response question on your test. In a multiple choice, the reasoning that we used last class is great. In a free response, in order to be complete in your answer with reasoning, you have to do so much writing that showing it mathematically is actually faster. So remember, we're looking for the orders with respect to each reactant is what we need to find from this data. So if I want to look at how it depends on A, I have to pick two trials where A is changing, but B and C are remaining constant. So if I look here, I can see that, let's see. So if I look at trial 1 and trial 4, I can see that B is remaining constant at 0.04 moles per liter. C is remaining constant at 0.08. So in this case, any change in rate will be due to the change in concentration of A. So the way we set this up is you'll divide one by the other. You'll substitute all the values and you'll divide one by the other. I always put the bigger number on top, so I'm going to put rate 4. I'm going to do trial 4 over 1. So trial 4, the rate is, I'm going to rewrite this as 0.78, and then K, 0.18 to the X, 0.04 to the Y, 0.08 to the Z. Okay, and then on the bottom, I put in the first trial, so 0.0867. So again, one thing I do, because I don't like fractions, I make sure the bigger rate is the one on top. Okay, and then we have 0.06 to the X and 0.04 to the Y and 0.08 to the Z. So when I look at this, I have 0.08 to the Z on the top and the bottom, 0.04 to the Y on the top and the bottom. The rate constant is a constant, and since I'm dividing by itself, it equals 1. So now I've got this 0.18 divided by 0.06 is 3. So I have 3 to the X, and then I plug this into my calculator. So I can actually only have 2 sig figs, so with 2 sig figs, this is 9.0. Now you could show log calculation, but I think you can do this part by reasoning. If 3 to the X equals 9, X must equal 2, since 3 squared is 9. So it's second order with respect to A. Then you have to do it again for B and C. So let's just choose our trials for B and C, and then I'll just do the work offline. You can check your work. So for B, with respect to B, let's see. So I look at trial 2 and 4, and I can see that B is changing, but A and C are constant. Now, I know the answer is going to be 0th order because the rate didn't change, but still, to write all that out in words, it's just as fast just to show the work. So I'm going to do, because 12 is bigger than 0.12 is bigger than 0.04, I'm going to do 2 over 3. So I've plugged in all my values. I have 0.08 to the Z on top and bottom. I have 0.18, and I put in the 2 since I know that it's squared based on my work from the first step, but it doesn't really matter because I cancel it anyway. And 0.78 over 0.78, so I'm getting 1 equals 0.12 divided by 0.04 is 3, so 1 equals 3 to the Y. So what could I raise 3 to get 1? And the answer is 0. So it is 0th order with respect to B. So now I just need to decide what trials to use to find C. So to do the with respect to C, I chose trial 1 and 3, and I'm going to do trial 3 over 1. And then I just plug in all the values again to my R equals K a to the x, b to the y, c to the z. I'll pause while I do that. Okay, so I've plugged in my values from my chart, and I even substituted my orders from the first two investigations. You could argue that there's no need to write the b because we established that it was 0th order, but again, you'd have to explain that, so you might as well just do the math. It shows the work and it gets to the point quickly. So what we end up getting is 3 equals 3 to the z. The only way that's possible is if z equals 3. So it's sorry, that's wrong. 3 to the what equals 3, z equals 1. So it's first order with respect to c. Now it feels like you've done enough work to finish everything, but you have to make sure you say the answer. So the answer, the rate laws, the formula, r equals k, a squared, because it was second order with respect to a. It's 0th order with respect to b, so I don't put it in the equation, and it's first order with respect to c. Okay, and then finally you're asked to find the rate constant. You can pick any trial and plug it in. Again, if it was a lab, you'd do all of them and average it, but we'll just pick one trial. So from trial 1, I'm going to plug in the values. So I have 0.0867 equals k times 0.06 squared times 0.08, and then just rearrange and solve for k. So on a test, I'll be more consistent with sig figs. If I look at this question, I actually only have one sig fig in these numbers with those concentrations of A and C. So I'm going to say my answer is 300. And you were asked for the units, you could use the rule looking at the overall order of 3. So it's L to the 3 minus 1, so L squared, over mole squared seconds, or you can use unit analysis and come up with those same units. Okay, so we'll do an example of this next class that has a little twist. So have a look at this and we'll practice on Monday. Remember to post questions you have in the help channel.